Hello everyone and welcome into my testing world, where today I'll be taking you through my process of making a data pack all the way from scratch. The data pack that we are creating today has everything to do with the locator bar that you see down at the bottom of my screen, which shows other players when they're online. And very specifically their location in relation to you when they're online. Now by default, these icons show up as like that little dot that you see over there, and they also kind of have a random color that you, the player, don't really get to customize. So as you can see, this here is my second account, and when he joined he had this light bluish color. And while Minecraft has given us a lot of commands that we can use to customize our waypoints, as they are called, there isn't really a survival friendly way of doing it, and I kinda want to solve that issue with this data pack. Now there are 4 to 5 things that we can change about the locator bar depending on how you want to look at it. And so let's quickly put together a to-do list over here, because we can change the waypoint itself, and on that we can change the color. We can give the color a hex value, and I'll explain that in a second. And we can also give it a different icon or style as they refer to it in Minecraft. Now we can also change some attributes for ourselves, and I definitely know how to spell, don't say a word. And this can be the transmit range and the receive range. With the transmit range, you can decide how far away your own icon gets transmitted, which essentially would mean for this player, if you were to set it to like 10, if he goes more than 10 blocks away, you wouldn't see the icon anymore. And you can change the receive range, which essentially means the distance that I, the player, receives it. So if I were to set that to 10 and I were to move 10 blocks back, then the locator bar would disappear. And so these are the 5 things that we want to be able to change with my data pack. Let's get to developing this thing, shall we? Starting with color. Now we're going to be using the waypoint command for this, but again, this one cannot really be used in survival. So we need to find a way for people to interface with this, right? Here you can see the color and the style. We can select color. Now as you can see, there are some default options that we can choose from. And what I'd like to do for this point over here is to just give people a very simple menu that they can choose from. Let me take you over to VS Code, which is the software I use for developing data packs. So over here on the left, you can see that I've already got a bunch of stuff set up. The data pack is going to be called Percy's Locator Kit, which is in line with my other data packs, Percy's Sewing Kit and Percy's Comfort Kit. And over here for the player to interface with, I'm going to set up a scoreboard in the load function. So this is going to be loaded every time the data pack gets reloaded. I'm going to call this PLK color. I'm putting PLK, short for Percy's Locator Kit, in front there just to make sure it won't interfere with any other data packs. And this objective is going to be a trigger. Now here in our player setup, I need to make sure that that trigger is enabled. So I'm going to go scoreboard. Nope, that's not scoreboard. Enable. At S, that will be the player who's getting set up here. PLK color, as you can see. So when the player joins, immediately after the player should be able to trigger this scoreboard. And just because it's a neat thing to do, also in the uninstall function, I'm going to add a little something scoreboard, objectives, remove PLK color. So when it gets installed, it doesn't leave that scoreboard behind. Now when I reload, I should be able to trigger PLK color. And this is not going to do anything yet. We haven't given it any function, but we can trigger it now, which is great. And so here in my tick function, we're going to set execute as all players that have score of 1 or more for this scoreboard that we've created. And this is not really necessary, but I'm going to add it anyway at that location so that it's at their location. There's no real need for that for this data pack, but you know, why not? Run function. And now we're going to have to create a brand new function here, which is going to be color / trigger. But again, we haven't created this yet. Let's create that one. And the first thing we're going to do is make sure that it resets their score for the scoreboard. And then we're going to enable it again, because if we don't do that, they can only use it once, which is kind of against the point, isn't it? And just to test it, we're going to say hi. Of course, we need to make sure that it works. So we're going to run trigger, PLK color, and it should say hi in chat. There you go, it works. And what I want to create is a little text menu in chat over here that's going to show all the colors that you can pick from, right? That's all of these. And then you should be able to click it and it should automatically give you that color. And I'm not going to do that on my own. I'm going to do that with the help of my very good friend, MC Stacker. And here's MC Stacker. I want to create a tell raw command. There we go. I want to select the selector. Why does it not do that? There we go. And what I'd like to do... Oh boy, how am I going to make this work? What do I want? Then we're going to want... Oh, let's do black. Oh, let's just copy this command in here. It doesn't do anything yet. I just want to show what I'm trying to figure out here. Color, and there you can see it is showing up those things, right? Now I'm realizing these need to have a command, and that will be trigger PLK color set, and that will be 2 for the first, I suppose. Because by default, if we regularly trigger it, it will be 1. So setting it to 2 would then be the first. And then black would be 3. And suddenly this command is a whole lot longer. And now we can still click it. Now we can actually click it. And so that's essentially how that's going to work. Now I need to implement that for all of them, which will be fun. All the colors are now in place. They don't do anything yet. And now it all is working. Let me quickly switch over to my second account over here. As you can see down in the bottom there, if I click these things, they change color. The dot changes color. Isn't that cool? In fact, I even added a little reset button. So let me click it for my second account. It will reset right back to that bluish color that he had. Isn't that cool? And so that is one check mark for color. Now we need to talk about hex, because what hex allows you to do is really cool. Let me even show you. Modify. It allows you to enter hex values, which you find often on the web, right? So F00 or FF00000, those are the same things. Those are both red. We can also make it green by doing 0F0. And in fact, let me quickly change this to more, 100% more. You can see that this dot over here is going to change to a green one now, right? And so with those hex values, you can fine tune your color even further than with the default colors that we have over here, which I think is great. There is, however, an issue. There is not really a good way or an easy way to let people insert this. Like, where in vanilla Minecraft can you fill in some random numbers and letters? I was thinking we can use an anvil. The idea being that players pick up a piece of paper somewhere and they can put it in the anvil and rename it to that value and take it out. Let's put that over there instead. And so it will be something like this. Paper goes in, you type in your value. Let's do blue, very blue. I need to turn off the audio for the other player, hang on. That should be a little bit better. Now I need to somehow get the custom name of this item and apply it to the dot over there. So I have set up another trigger, which is called PLK color hex, which should take the color of the name, or sorry, the name of the item, and apply it to the color. And so this is what that function looks like in the data pack. Essentially, it's going to take the custom name of the item that I'm holding, and it's going to set it to storage over here. Then it's going to run this macro function with this storage. And then it's going to remove the storage because we don't really need it anymore. And the macro function is simply this. I haven't tested this, so let's see if it works. And the way that we're going to test this is by giving this paper with the custom name to my second account. Because that way we'll be able to see. Let me quickly switch over. So your PLK color hex, it should now change to a blue. It did not work. Uh-oh. But to find out if it works, I've added in a little debug message. It should say hi if it... No, it does not say hi. Something is very wrong with the macro function. Let's figure this one out. Oh. It's working now. As you can see, it turned blue. So the thing is, you're supposed to be holding it, and I don't think he was holding it. That's on me. It is working. It is working just fine. So now I've made a function for the offhand as well, so it should work regardless of whether you're holding it in your main hand or your offhand. And so let's give this a try by giving it just some random numbers. I don't really know what kind of color we're going to get. We have a lot of green and some blue, so some really cool green, I think. Let's try that one. So now you can see he's holding a paper in his offhand and nothing in his main hand. Let's have a look. Yeah, look at that. It changes the color. It works perfectly fine. And so that is this one complete. Nice. Now we want to be able to change the style, and the style of course is the icon that we see, the shape that it should have, right? Now this is something you can add through resource packs, but Minecraft actually has one built in by default, an additional one. I want to set it to Minecraft bow tie off the top of my head. Oh yeah, there you can see the changes. It changes the icon over there. And there's also a reset. But I'll bet you can also get there by doing default. Yeah, I don't think we need a reset one, as you can get it the other way around. Which is great because we can make this work the exact same way as we did for the hex color, in that we take a paper, we put it in here, and we can just give it the name of the resource. So in theory, all that I need to do now is call this Minecraft bow tie. There we go. Give it to this guy. Trigger PLK style is the trigger for this. And if we trigger it, it doesn't do it. Why not? Uh-oh. Now I believe it should work. If we trigger it, there you go. Look at that. We got a bow tie now. Now actually, let's just for funsies add the Percy Spark resource pack is already here. Because of course I have a bunch of custom waypoints in there. Let me grab another paper. Banner. So now we should be able to get one with another texture. It should now change to the banner icon. Look at that, isn't it cool? And so now that we have that working, we can check that one off. Which leaves us only with the attributes. And that's the transmit range and the receive range. Now, ideally, I would like to have a trigger. It would probably be PLK transmit range. And then set it to a number, and it should take that number and put it in your attributes. So for both the receive range and for the transmit range, we're doing exactly the same thing, except for this one, we're setting it to the receive range, and for this one, we're setting it to the transmit range. Now, again, I haven't tested this, so let's just find out if it works at all. I want to set the receive range, and I want to set it to 3. Why not? And me and 100% more, we are more than 3 apart, so I cannot receive him anymore. And so the locator bar should disappear. And it sure does. Oh, isn't that amazing? If I set this to 10, now I can receive again. And when I go far enough away, look at it, it's gone again. Okay, this is cool. If I set this to 60 million, which is the default, then everything should be restored to how it was. As you can see, I have split my screen into 2 parts. On the left side, I am controlling 100% more, my second account. And on the right side over here, I'm controlling 100% me, my main account. And I'm doing this so that you can see what it's going to look like when I change my transmit range. That's the one. So I can set my transmit range to 0, and now I'm just not transmitting anymore. Ooh, can we do that even? That doesn't seem to have worked. Oh, of course not. Oh, of course. It would need to be at least... Yeah, okay. This is happening because in our tick function, we're testing to see if it's 1 or higher. And the way we fix it is by just making it 0 or higher. If I reload this, this should still be loaded, so it should work. And as you can see, it does. So now this one doesn't transmit any waypoint, right? Similar, if I set this to 1. Ooh, can we get it if we get really close? It doesn't look like it. That's fine. Let's just set it to 2. Does this work at all? I don't even know if this works. If I set this to 10, surely it should see it then, right? When you enable a scoreboard, it gets set to 0. And over here in our tick, we just said it needs to be 0 or higher. And so essentially this is constantly running, which is bad. So let's try this again. Let's bring in the other account again and trigger PLK transmit range. I'm going to set this to 2. And now if I get closer, we should... Oh, my receive range is still off. Hang on. So now if I get closer, yeah, there you go. So this is now 100% more is now transmitting only to up to 2 blocks away, right? As you can see. And we can set this to 10 again. Let's just give a random number here. Why not? And now when I go 10 blocks away, we cannot see 100% more anymore. All right. This is awesome. This is working. This looks kind of weird with myself on the other screen, doesn't it? Hello? There we go. Let's get rid of that, shall we? And I think with that, we can actually check all of these off. There you go. Now, when working on these kinds of projects, it's a really good idea to take a break every once in a while. I've stepped away for a couple hours and I've actually come up and implemented a few changes that I think are very, very impactful for our data pack over here. You will notice that the colors have changed. The order of them has changed to be more of a rainbow style. I figure That is a little bit prettier and makes it maybe easier to find everything. And also, when I now click one of these, you will see it gives you a little bit feedback. It says, hey, your waypoint is now aqua in this case. Or I can go for dark red or dark purple, whatever really. I can also say when it's reset. And the same goes for when you triggered the other ones with paper, for example. Let's figure out a fun code here. Yeah, there you go. I have no idea what color that's going to make. Something greenish, I think. If we trigger BLK color hex, you will see it gives some feedback over here. It will show up in the actual color. Let's try something else, completely different. Sure, why not? Again, I have no clue what this color is going to be. Let's have a look. But now we can say, ooh, it's a nice pinkish color. Now you can see this is the actual color that it changes to. And what I noticed when we were testing over here, I had the other account here, but of course that means that we instantly get feedback, right? We got to see what changed. But from your own perspective over here, of course, you cannot see your own waypoint on the locator bar, and therefore you have no idea what it changes to. Having a little bit of feedback is, I think, it goes a long way. And I've implemented those messages for the other triggers as well, and so you should always be able to see what you've changed. And there you go, everyone. That is me creating a data pack from scratch. It is neat and optimized. It is super functional, giving the player access to all of these customization options with just a few very simple triggers. And hopefully this data pack will be available on Modrinth when this video comes out. I hope that you've enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye!